I am no longer Boomer GM because I, good friends, have a stream deck and can move in between all of these different scenes with the click of a click. That's right. You will hear me say it more than once in this show, my friends. I have the power. Now, will I remember to switch between scenes? Because my head's all full of the knights and the bishops. Will I still forget? Maybe. But I'm hoping just to get in the rhythm. I got these beautiful little buttons in front of me, Baus. These are some nice buttons. I just click them. Watch this. Game review. Oh, Baus. Time graph. Starting soon. Full screen. Oh, buddy, I can even go to the talks template. Oh, look at that. It's all with the click, buddy. Who's the chump now? Who's the chump now? I think the Quad X season chat, he's like the only one. And I think he might have been the person forcing me to do this. Now, let me just say there were some F-bombs dropped because, they made it difficult. But I've cracked the code. We'll see. I trial run it yesterday. And now we're going on to see if it works with the grad show. Because it's really at the grad show I felt I needed it. Because, I got these different scenes. I always forget. I have to move it. It takes it a little. This will just make it a lot smoother. So I can drink my coffee, click, and not have to do anything, So anyways, that's my little hope, my friends. That's my little hope. Okay, so let's get into it. Oh, by the way, Jack, the famous Jack Stingline, who designed most of the site in front of you. He's got some minions now, but he's designed most of it. He is going to join me, hopefully, in about a half an hour. All right. Sega Fan has graduated again. I remember Sega Fan from a previous graduation. And he says, the focus on tactics and working through the first workbook on Chessable. I didn't even know that they had that first workbook on Chessable. That's actually good to know. I think I'm on the third or fourth time repeating up to skewers. Also was eye-opening to do my own analysis. Was relying way too much on the review game button on Chess.com. I think I was learning a bit, nodding my way through the engine words, but was not retaining. Looking forward to the round robin matches. By the way, I'm going to show that throughout the show. Round robin thing is, I think, a really beautiful new tournament that the dojo's got going. Coming up to get some classical games under my belt. Attending a local OTB meetup this week too, so hope to get a longer in-person game. I have still not played any classical time games yet, but did find an interesting blunder game to comment on. Not sure if this link will work. So if I don't find your game, I'll come back to this link. All right, here we go. We got a question. What makes Fabi's game different from other elite GMs? I think there was a time in which it was different. I don't know if it's different now. I think they kind of figured out a secret. What he was doing was he was using Leela, which has slightly different parameters than Stockfish, which is what most people are using. A little bit more dynamic. And so Leela was getting him the kind of positions he thrived on, which were the manic and the crazy positions. Ones where calculation was going to win. Anyways, that's off topic. I love Sega Fan, your heat map, dude. You can see, dude joined here on October 25th, and then boom, right away, we're getting a lot of work done. He's got the end game. He's got the tactics, And one of the improvements, and one of the reasons I want to get Jack on, first of all, it's just fun to have other people from the dojo in on the grad show. But I want him to see some of the things the way through my eyes. So for example, I don't like that the non-dojo presents as white. I want it to present as, let's say if the guy was doing tactics, I want it to say tactics, Okay, but otherwise, this is looking great. I also want the colors to be a little, like this dark green is too much like a gray. So I want that to be a little bit clearer. In any case, it's looking great. So clubs, Sega Fan, chess steps, Portland Dojo, okay. I think it is so cool. Actually, let me just throw out my idea. I think it's so cool that we're getting basically all around the world that most of the major cities now have their own dojo clubs. This allows people, obviously, to get together. It's both a social thing as well as a sparring thing. But I'm thinking now, especially as we develop it, there's a couple dreams I got, but the big one is, let's say Portland Dojo, right? If they then have a team, so all the people from the Portland Dojo, and then we create a league where we have different dojos against different cities against different cities, dude. Oh, damn. That's the bomb. Okay, so this is looking good. And let's go games. See, there's the game. Now, this is like he warned us. This is going to be a quick game. And so, here we go. I'm going to assume this is the one in the link. So, all right. So, we are black. So far, you're playing great. Now, this is a mild inaccuracy because even though it feels, this is actually a hard one to understand. It might feel like we're doing ourselves a service by bringing the queen out early. Because we can't whack the queen, we've kind of helped the queen develop. Right? Like if we had a knight here and we could win a tempo, that would be another thing. So c5. Queen e5, I would say, is a mistake. They love to check at this level. He should move somewhere else. Now you go queen e7. He loses another tempo. Good move. And now you play b6. And you're right. I think this pawn structure feels better to me. I know it allows them to develop the knight and possibly a fork now, so maybe defending with a6 is better. Okay, you're bringing out your guys. Good. Ooh, that's frisky. Advance the pawn, hoping for a positive exchange in the open file for my queen. Okay, so let's talk about what the problems are. The problem is that you are going to be opening the E file for your opponent. Now, your opponent doesn't do this, but that would have been the dangerous thing. Also, this check, oh no, that check's just murder. Just murder, hair beflirter. So it should be said that your position is a little bit difficult here because of the situation of your queen, which makes us really want to go back to here and ask, could we have done it better? Like maybe knight e7. And then we kick the queen, and then we do our business, right? Okay. All right, so queen e7, queen f4, knight f6, knight c3, b6, castles. Okay, so when you give a question mark, it's very important to tell us what you think you should have done, right? And I want to stress this position is hard for me too. I don't know exactly what you should do. Okay? I don't. My intuition would be to try to get d6 to work. Yeah. And maybe we could even get frisky and play castles. We'd then have to analyze knight b5, d6, knight a7, here, and then, I don't know. Maybe this is dumb for us. I don't know, Jesse. I don't know. Can you take an e4? Maybe that's too much to ask. So anyways, d6 might be the move, right? Okay, so d5, incorrectamundo. You're opening all of the files and stuff before your king is safe. So e5, mistake. I want to stress that both ed and bishop b5, you are completely wrecked. So he helps you keep the position closed. d4, oh no. Definitely should have moved the knight to safety. Didn't follow rule number 1, being stingy with material. Yeah. Also, boss, he's opening you up, buddy. He's opening you up. All right, we're toast here. Actually, I say that, but at this level, maybe he's going to give you a shot, dude. So let's just continue here for a second. Whoa, look what we got this thing going on. Oh, we're not going to resign yet, my friends. Not going to resign yet. Cheat. Okay, so he cheated and he thinks e6 is better. But notice, d6 looks pretty natural to me. Bishop c3. What? Boom, boom, boom. Now you're back in the game, buddy. How did it happen? How'd you get back in the game? Very nice. Very simple and strong. What's happening now? Are you winning? Oh, look at this. Okay, that one I don't like because even now you're doing great. Well, I would have preferred you sit it there. You sit it and start pushing. Start the pushing. Good move. Poor. Oh, we wanted bishop a5. Now we lost our coconut. Oh, we didn't want to. I believe I have to draw at this point, but it's declined. Oh my God. h3, mistake. He must prevent king b3. Oh no, king d5. King b3, you're on fire over here. You're killing him. He had to play king c2 to stop you from entering. Okay, king d5. Uh-oh, this is starting to scare me. Uh-oh. Why did he play? Oh, it's a check. It's a check, right? Oh, I don't understand anything here. I'm throwing away the game here. Should have tried to move my bishop to protect the pawn. Yeah, and white's doing nothing. He didn't figure out anything. What are we doing? Oh, no. Hoping for a stalemate. Oh, I have a feeling it's going to be a stalemate. Oh, oh, baby. Oh, 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 oh. Got him. Got him. It's funny, my daughter really is not into chess, but the one thing she understands is like, you lose, you just keep playing, and then she kind of has a feel for that going for stalemate thing that you did. But that's the one thing my daughter can do. All right, let's mark this as reviewed, and we will continue continuing. And we just decided we're going to do a dojo preview of the coming World Chess Championship that will start Monday. Wait a second. Did I have the wrong scene on that whole time? Did I have this? Wait, did I have the scene on wrong that whole game? And no one told me? You guys, I have this whole thing. I have a feeling I had the scene wrong. Maybe you could have seen a little bit of it anyway. That was bad, Kraai. I just have this thing. My scene was correct, says Gravy Zone. Okay, good, DM. Did I really push the button? Okay, here we go. CJH. I started learning chess in 2020, mostly from watching random vids on the internet. Started using the dojo earlier this year, but had some life events. I am now back and I'm ready to start working my way up the cohorts. All right, cool. I understand all about the life events. We're going to give CJH a follow here. Now, you can see he joined last year, but then only recently is he on it here. This is beautiful. Isn't this thing beautiful? Now, again, we got to fix the colors, a little too muted. But great to see. Now we get to see when he played the games and such. Now, let me just ask you guys a question. For days in which nothing happens, okay, like you don't do something. I have days I don't do something. The same way we got this kind of icon for when you play the game. Do you think it'd be totally dumb to have a different icon, maybe like an umbrella for like a beach umbrella, you know? And then just like, you didn't do anything that day. You were out. Because the boys are like, don't you understand that destroys the whole heat map? And I'm like, dude, wouldn't it be cool? Yeah, a little shame, but also a little fun. Come on. Okay. So, we're going to get into this here. Clubs. Oh, here we go. I'm a member of the 100 members of Chess Dads and Moms. That's amazing. Okay. Then we're going to look games. Here we got a bunch. These are 30-0 games. Let's click this one. And now I just want to look over here. So I have a feeling my scene was all wrong, but you could still see the moves. All right, here, let me just, Gravy Zombies asking about my beautiful Stream Deck. I just have to remember to use it. See, I just, with a touch of a button now, go like this. And boom, baby. Oh, yeah. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. I still think it needs a small Jadoob. We still need a small Jadoob over here because it's not quite 100%ing. Let's just, how are we going to fix this? No. Oh, God. There we go. Just a little smaller, right? Just so we can see Henry's name up there. Okay. So this one we want to say is mildly annotated. So we would have wanted a little bit more, but we're going to play through this bad boy. Ooh, here, watch here. Here's the Stream Deck in action. Bam! All right, so that's our time graph. Now I don't have to move around. I just click a button. How about that, DM? How about them skills, buddy? Can't call me Boomer GM no more, bows. I got the Stream Deck. That increases my rating by hundreds of points, too. Hundreds of points. Oh, there's a huge learning curve, dude. Yeah, I was the F-bombs to the max, dude. F-bombs to the max. Okay, so one of the things we do on every stream here, the Grad Show stream, is we yell at people for not taking enough time. Now, it has to be said, this is a shortish game, so maybe we shouldn't yell too much. But we can definitely see those first 6 moves pretty fast. All right, now we go game review with the click of a button, my friends, with the click of a button. All right, here we go. So far, so good. Same mistake as last time. Again, the problem is the queen is kind of developed on d4. Okay, fine. Poor. Why is this move poor? Because it's not a developing move. Pawn moves aren't developing moves. And black has a passive piece here that we are freeing by playing e5. Fine. We could have also played queen e7. Poor. No one knows what that's doing. This is where we need annotations, my friends, okay? So one of the things that's going to happen is people are going to give away time. Also, even past, once you're past 1,000, right? But this is horrendous. And this, the main reason it's bad is it's giving away time. Castles, h3, ditto, giving away time. Now, rook e8, g4, horrendous. Good. Boom, boom. Bishop e4, thank you very much. Okay, it's just a yard sale now, my friends. Boomer GM is becoming so independent. One thing, what was I gonna say? I was laughing so much. One thing I did do is I had to contact customer support, the Stream Deck. Oh, they took forever, dude. Oh, my computer didn't have an extra. I need more than one USB-C port. I had to get an extension. I had to buy another converter. Oh my God. Anyways, here we go. Check to the miserable king. Knight f2. Okay. Let's go queen e2 now, baby. Queen e5. I don't get it, but okay. Queen e2. Oh, what happened? Well, why'd you resign, though? Why'd you resign? Oh, man. This is a sad story. Okay, now, hold on. A couple things. When you're annotating this game, you want to focus on, most importantly, when they give you stuff. Your opponent gave you a bunch of stuff. One of the reasons he gave you a bunch of stuff is he gave you all that time, and that sets you up. All those tempi set you up for this skewer. Pin, whatever you want to call it. Excuse me, it's a pin. And then when you get here, you want to talk a little bit about how the milk went bad, right? So knight f2 is already like, it's fine, but it's a little weird because I don't know where you're going. I would like you, no matter what, to go to queen e2 next, especially if he doesn't play knight c3, which he doesn't. So here, like with queen e5, of course you're winning no matter what you do, but we want you to write it out in some way. You know, say what you think you should have done. So queen e5, and of course anything, and you know, don't beat yourself up too much. You're going to have people doing this too. I want to stress something. Let's go back to the time graph. When you've got a winning position, you got to slow it down a little bit. Games will be over soon. You're up a queen, and then some, right? You're up a queen and then some. But you know, you got to just take a little time, relax, make sure you're not doing anything crazy. And then at the end, my friend, you keep playing. You keep playing because look, oh, you still have a shot here. Maybe you're worse. The game's not over though. It's not cooked yet. Okay. Well, Slayatupa, you know, it's kind of true. Knight f2, why offering the trade? But you're up so much material, I can't criticize it too much. What I more criticize is just like, what are you trying to do? Because here we want to end him, you know, and any knight move's fine. Knight f2 is fine. But like, this feels like we don't know what we're doing. And then this feels like we don't know what we're doing. And this move, by the way, was played in 8 seconds. And that's the real problem. So one of the great things with going over your games is you're going to learn what your bad habits are. Okay, let's continue. All right, OCO, the famous OCO. Oh, Kraai, go back. See, get it going, bud. Get it going. See that? That was a suppress of the stream deck bows. All right, OCO, I remember. He's been around. Look at that beautiful rating graph there. Oh, and look at the frickin' dude is playing a lot of games. My friends, this thing is amazing. I can tell when he took a vacation. That's the Danish vacation over there in August. The one time, you know, it gets above 50 degrees in Denmark. You know, go out to the beach, bud. Yeah. That's why I'm thinking an icon for a little umbrella wouldn't be so bad. So dude is basically playing every day. Okay. So we want him to do some tactics tests. So, clubs. Danish dojo. We got 9. Okay. All right. This is looking great. Yeah. Looking good. Boom. Games. Boom. Let's click this one. Wait, I just want to make sure there's not... I was just seeing if there's any OTB. I always prefer to do an OTB if possible. Okay. Good friends, hold on. Over here. We are going to bring on the famous Jack Stenglein. And I'm going to have to do a little jadubing. I've been talking a lot of smack about how I'm a tech genius. We'll see. We'll see, buddy. We'll see. Jack, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I have to do a little bit of setup here, and then we'll be set. All right, so the first thing I do. All right, say something. Great, that's the first thing I got to do. And then I go boom, boom. Okay. times. Now, is this... Okay. Okay, say something, Jack.
How's it going?
Great. I think you're in. You guys tell me if he's in, and then if we get confirmation, then we can start the show. Do you guys hear Mr. Jack? Give me a confirmation. DM Hokey is in the chat, Jack. So maybe
Yeah, I saw that.
We'll get a full... Confirmed tech genius, Tony Rotella says. I'm just going to take that as confirmation that it's working. And I'm going to click one quick thing. I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to also put you in the game review. Just put you in here. Bang. Okay, good. So we have sound in two different scenes. Jack, did you hear about my amazing Stream Deck?
Yeah. Yeah,
Do you have a Stream Deck, Bows?
I don't stream, so no.
I think I got you, bud. I think I got you. This would be the equivalent of like, some like, I don't know, like an 800. I would say my streaming capabilities are like an 800. My computer, let's put it differently. My computer capabilities are like an 800. So it'd be the equivalent of me coming up, like an 800 coming up to a GM, because I think you are like a computer GM, and saying like, oh, Bows, you don't have my latest opening book. And I get to shame you now, bud. I got some major ELO with this thing, bud. I got some major ELO games going on.
I don't have a Stream Deck, but I did build my own gaming PC, so I got you there.
Oh, that sounds rough, dude. Gaming PC. Whew, nope, I don't got that. I think with this Stream Deck that an argument for it is not just for streaming, but just imagine there's all kinds of things you do all the time. You can set it up just to be at a click, which I think is a similar thing for maybe like the shortcuts thing you can do on your keyboard.
Yeah. That does sound nice.
Okay, so I'm going to try to put this over here. We are looking at Ocio's game. Ocio has graduated numerous times, and you should be able to follow on the screen, but if the delay is too severe, I can also share the screen with you. All right, here we go. So, D3. Now, this is kind of funny. It might sound unbelievable, but this D3 move is a big computer suggestion, which when every GM who's seen it has been like, what? What do you mean? That looks dumb. Anyways, I don't think White probably knew that or understood. So Bishop G4, and that's fine. And then this is a terrible move. One of the problems in the Caro-Kann that Black is playing is that the knight is often poor, right? So think about it this way. When you play the French, you get a bad bishop and everyone can kind of see that. And that's what the Caro-Kann players are so proud of. But their problem is they have a poor knight. But when White takes, oh, look at that. Now we got this knight ready to go. Okay, so White plays him passively. Good move. Poor move. Not a developing move. Fine. Okay. Fine. Makes me a little nervous, Bishop C5, because you're setting yourself up for knight E4 or something. A3. And now we're hanging a piece with B4. B4. Okay. Was focusing too hard on that F2 square. I totally missed the fork on my bishop and queen. Okay. Now, here, I think we should probably at least try for bishop takes b4. It's not going to be pretty. It's maybe just god-awful. But the question is, okay, it's gone bad, right? So maybe bishop f2, you were focusing in on. Get your pawn. Because now he's at least his king is safe. Okay, finally castled. I think it was too slow. Now, let me just say the obvious. The problem was you lost a piece. 94. Poor because you're setting his bishop up for that. Okay. Queen d2. Boom, good move. I like that a lot. Knight f6. That's hard for me to believe. King h8. Didn't want to take the knight with my pawn as it would destroy my pawn structure. Hello, wait a second. Take the knight. Take the knight. Of course you take the knight. Now, are you a little worried you're going to get mated or something? Okay, I'm fine with that. But you were down a piece, son. You needed to do something. Okay, but let's just see. Bishop f6. First of all, am I a little afraid? Yeah, I'm a little afraid. No doubt. Maybe this is, in fact, crispy critters for me.
If it is, though, you've got to show that in the variation.
True. Now, Jack is a stickler. Jack is a stickler. So one thing is, for example, knight g6, queen h, and then I don't know how I get out. And then knight f5. There's my bummer right there. Oh, no. So maybe it's true. I didn't believe it at first. I don't know if white saw all that, but maybe it's true. King h8, queen g5. This guy's crazy. h6, I'm believing less and less of this for white. Queen g4, and now you played e5. And you write, bad situation for me as black. I think it would have been better to go bishop e5 instead of moving the pawn. Now, I think he means knight e5. Now, let me just say something. That white is making their life so much harder than necessary. Let's go back just a second. Look at this position. He's up a piece. No problems in life. His pieces are great. A castle, buddy. Castle. There's no need to be fancy. There will be a time in your life when you want to be fancy. Now is not it. Now is not it. Yeah. All right. Check to the miserable king. I think that's okay. Queen h5. And now e5, and he blunders now, knight d5. Okay, so let me say the obvious. At this level, it's all about people hanging stuff. Okay? Do we have clock times? Now check this out. Well, one click of a button, boom, I can show the clock times. Let's say the obvious. OCO, you're moving too fast, buddy. Is your opponent moving even faster? He is. By the way, everybody, on the line, I got Jack Stengling, the guy who designed this amazing clock graph. I showed Jack your clock graph to my coach, KGB. He was impressed, dude. You know, it's not like he didn't know about clock times, but yeah, it tells a story. It tells a story on one glance. Like if I couldn't see it, I wouldn't be able to yell at OCO, and then where would the fun in that be? You know, so you've enabled me here, Jack.
Use the dojo for his own analysis?
No, he's even, you know, he's not a friend of the tech. You just be thankful that he figures out, you know, Skype or whatever it is he's using. He's got an email address with Yahoo at the end, so you know it's bad, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right. Boom. Good move. Thank you very much. Now you're doing great. Notice you are now, I think you're up in material, and his king is poor. Poor move. Why? Because they're not developing. What do they have to do? Castles. What is f4 trying to do? Cheap trick. Cheap trick. Boom. And now look, he hasn't fixed his king, so he should get mated now. Boom. Check to the miserable king. King f2. And now you play queen e3. And we just want to pause for a second here on this queen e3 move. Yes, you're winning and everything, but I think even more clinical would be rook d2. Let's just give it a try. Check to the miserable king. Check to, I'm mating him. I'm mating him. On king f4, we're going this way. The point is, with rook d2, that now when he goes back, we snip the rook. Okay, queen e3. But why are you positionally winning here? It's because his rook on h1 is not participating in the struggle. Good move. And now all your heavies are in. That's not doing anything. b6. I don't like it. Play rook d2. That's weird. Very good move. Check to the miserable king. Mate! Someone did it, dude. I feel I was very close to losing the game at one point if black didn't blunder. Great. Osio, look, buddy, the most important thing for you is, boom, the time graph, okay? Look at that thing, bud. You will blunder less if you can just slow it down a little bit. Okay, let's go back, grad show. One of the things I'm hoping to do when we look at people here is to look at those heat maps with Jack, and we can talk about it. But first, we're going to read what Chris has to say. Really enjoying the program so far. The tactics work has been great. The first chess workbook and puzzles are challenging but well structured. I've only found time to play 2 longer games and only casual OTB. Main focus is roughly daily 15-10 on ChessCom that I'm taking more seriously and trying to use my time. Taking more seriously. Started to play chess again this year, and my goal was to hit 1,000 on ChessCom before the end of the year. Oh, I think he's getting close. All right, let's go over here. Boom. Okay. All right, Jack, so here we go. Here we go. First of all, it's a beautiful heat map. We could say that Chris has fallen off the wagon a little bit. But one of the things I just wanted to, we could just look at a couple examples and then imagine how it could look. Okay, so here my pitch. So first of all, like this color here is, like what was it? It was a games and analysis. It's like this. Okay, so he's got a lot of weak games and analysis. They all look the same. If we had a lighter green, I think it would look this similar too. But the green actually is fine. I think the greens all look like you can tell what they are. What I don't like is that it's so approaching to the gray itself. It doesn't really stand out. Okay, hear me out, Jack.
We only did 45 minutes, so it should be close to the gray.
Okay, now, so this is what they were saying. This is our inner dojo debate that I'll bring out. So the idea of the heat map being like, in that way, if you put it that way, that it's like, well, we're going to make it close to this basic thing. But why not, Jack? Just imagine. Just imagine. If we have a day where they do nothing, how about a little beach umbrella? Something like that. Just something different than the gray, just so it's not so,
I don't know. I feel like it would look cluttered, but I can do a mock-up if you want.
Gravy Zombie gets worried. Go ahead.
It's going to be too many icons.
Well, we would just have 2 icons, right?
Well, but on this guy's heat map, almost every square would be a beach icon.
Yeah.
Or an umbrella icon.
Mm-hmm.
It would look too cluttered.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, I do want to say that was recommended actually by chat last time, was to either do an icon or to change the base color. Like maybe, is there a way to make it even lighter, the gray lighter? I don't know.
Yeah, we could do that.
That would be more, I guess, what I'm thinking. Just to make it, just so the eyes can easily just distinguish these things over here. Okay, probably we'll see more examples. Let's continue with this dude. He needs to do some tests. Clubs. UK Dojo. Okay. My next thing, Jack, that I want to sell to you, I'm also sell to the people in the chat, is we got a bunch of people in different cities across the world. And then if those cities had their own teams, then they could have a team league. So it'd be different dojo cities against different cities. But how about that? How about that?
That'd be cool.
All right, here we're looking. We got 1 game. Let's give it a click. Let's go game review. Let's see here. And we're going to now talk about the time graph. And what we can see with ye old time graph is that we at least spent more time than our opponents. And maybe I'll yell at our guy, but you know, it got to 20 some moves. He's got 13 minutes left, so I'm not going to yell too much. Definitely his opponent is moving way too fast. All right, let's go back game review. All right. Okay. He's playing the King's Gambit. As usual, I think it's incorrect to be both playing the King's Gambit and to be studying openings at this level. Knight f6. Boom. 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 Now, one reason not to study him is your opponents are going to do weird things. And here this dude does a weird thing. He just gives up his knight. He gives up his knight. There isn't even a pawn there. Thank you very much. So, bishop c5. And now a little interesting moment. Okay. So, he's going to play knight takes d4 and try to do a wild business to you with queen h4. So one of the things just to say is, if you had seen that in advance, like, for example, in this position, if you had seen that d4, knight d4, queen h4 was a thing, what we should really consider is just playing bishop e3, right? One of the things that we've seen as a theme throughout the under 1000s is the challenge is to win the material and then consolidate, trade it off, win a piece up endgame. That's your path. You don't have to be fancy about it. All right, so d4. This is actually very creative by black. And I don't even think it works. But one of the things I want to stress is, even if it doesn't work, I want you guys to see that the point is really that we don't even want to take any chances once we're up a piece like this. Okay, so queen e3, queen g5, king e2 seems less scary now. I've played it out. Great. Okay, good. So one of the things that we want to stress when we go back to ye old, well, I can see it here. You spent 2.5 minutes there. And first of all, queen h4, I'm sure was kind of a rude shock when it happened, right? So spending more than 2.5 minutes would be fine. And you need to see that he's going to play bishop takes d4. Okay, here we go. King g2, good move. Good move. We definitely want to trade. Queen c2. Bishop e2, good move. d6, good move. He needs to do something. All right, here we go. Rook f1, good move. Castles, and now you played ed6. Is it hot? It is very hot. It's very hot. But I want to say, I do think you are probably winning this position, though there's things that are giving me the heebie-jeebies here. Okay, yeah, no, I have official heebie-jeebies. Okay, so the thing that scares me to death here is bishop d7 in this position. That really scares me. Now, like, for example, this is a big deal. I don't know how to stop it. Maybe queen d3 is forced, but like bishop f3, oh God, we're going to take a run on the wild side. Let's just say I'm scared, right? I'm scared. Okay, so he takes back, and now we need to develop pronto. I don't like it. We're hanging our b2 pawn. Jack, what's the right move?
I would have played knight c3 probably.
Good. I think knight d2 is probably also fine. Now your opponent misses. Bishop e2 would be kind of a pain because you will lose the rook. Okay. Bishop f5. And now I'm scared again. Oh no. Oh no. So here, this is exactly what I'm saying. Once we're up material, we never want to find ourselves in this situation. What's the correct move? We got to play knight d2 to cover this square. Right? It's not even a question. It's got to be covered. So he misses it. Oh my gosh. King h1. Now, you talk about queen f5, maybe, but it's not over yet because he would have rook e2. Yeah, and your engine showed you this one, and it looks miserable. You know, it looks like death. Now, I think it's got to be said, though, that already, even though rook fe8 was ridiculous because he was missing bishop e4, it's still, it's still a big problem. Okay, he blows it and plays g6. He's not seeing it. Bishop d1. Okay. The question would be, is there any way to salvage our soul here? So it goes bishop d1, queen b2, g4. Bishop e4 is just happening all the time. People are missing it. We're still missing it. Oh, no. What? Rook f1? Oh! Jack, the guy missed bishop e4 like 300 times in a row. And then he found the mate. He found the really complicated rook f1. Look at that, dude. But it doesn't even work. It doesn't even work. We could play rook takes f1.
Well, he just moved the rook into the corner. Why is he going to move it back?
Well, we moved it into the corner because we took the queen.
Well, yeah, he just put it there.
He just put it there. Oh, no. And this one, look at how fast these guys were playing. This guy playing black was like, screw it, man. I'm going to play rook f1. Now, if the knight had to recapture, it would be one of the most brilliant things ever. But no, it's just rook takes f1.
After he played that too and got the mate, he was like, "Oh, I'm a genius," and then, probably never even realized that rook f1 was also possible.
No. Well, my friends, by me yelling at you, I'm hoping it's not just you, but anybody watching. Just take your time. You're going to find this stuff. And what is it about? I totally get it. People are, when you move so fast like that, it's like nervous energy, the belief that there's only one move. Yeah, all of that's going on. And the guy missed bishop. It's funny to me that he missed bishop e4 a gazillion times. Our knight is finally covering the square. And then we moved it. Okay. Here we go. Welcome to the crew, Chris. You will make it, but we need, look at that little button I press. Look at that little button I press, bows. Yeah. Again, the under 1000 is primarily about not hanging stuff, and moving slower will help you not hang stuff. All right. Beto says, I definitely started taking a bit more time calculating and evaluating my position early in the game. I like the mix of different activities, and my games are finally qualifying for the classic definition. So in the next cohort, I can do proper analysis. I still haven't done postmortems or worked with other people on Discord, which I'm looking forward to. I feel like I'm making progress and my visualization skills have improved. Also OTB, excited for the next cohort. Now, let me just say about this qualifying for the classic definition. The way we've got it set up is that we say at the beginning, let's say you're in the 0 to 300 cohort. Those are going to be faster time controls, and as you move up, the time controls get longer. But for the 0 to 300 cohort, a faster game will count. So you can definitely use those as your analysis. Okay, let's go in here.
They might be talking about the rule that you have to use half of your base time for it to count.
Okay. Okay, Jack, here we go. Here's a great example of some of the things I want to talk to you about. So these are non-dojos, and they look exactly like the gray, So that's not great. And then the other thing, and I know this is a little hard, but let's say I'll click on it. Actually, let's go click on his stuff for a second. So if I click on his stuff, I can click on non-dojo. And what is it? He's playing some rapid. So what I would like is when we have non-dojo activities, for them to have to say which bucket it belongs to. So in this case, it would be games and analysis. And so he would get a yellow over here, right? So it's still marked as non-dojo, but it then lets us know what kind of activity it was that he did. And I think the only problem with that is a lot of times people, let's say, are watching a YouTube vid, and maybe it's not entirely clear which category it belongs to. But really, even YouTube vids, generally maybe it's about an opening, maybe it's puzzles, I don't know, maybe it's chess history or something, which could be middle games and strategy, right? But it's something. It's generally something. And then the longer term goal there would be once we get the buckets to present, then we're going to be more ready for the personalized, to use this thing for the personalized plans. So people can set up their own business, and then it'll present as whatever it is, whatever bucket it is, and then they can have their own breakdown of what they're doing. What do you think?
To me, it sounds like you have those steps backwards.
Okay, say more.
We need to set up the personalized plans, and then once we have that in place, the heat map will just naturally use whatever their personal plan is.
But the heat map is still going to need to present with the non-dojo as whatever it is there, whatever bucket it actually is.
Well, yeah, once we have personal plans, then you wouldn't really use the non-dojo bucket anymore.
Well, the people in the program would, if we keep it this way. See? So I still want the people in the program who do something non-dojo to let us see what it is. Right? Also, it looks better. Because this doesn't look like anything. Or especially if it's 15 minutes or whatever it is. These guys play 15 minutes a day.
Yeah, we could come up with a new color for non-dojo instead of the gray color to differentiate it.
But why don't you like what I'm saying? To just have people mark down which bucket it belongs to.
Well, when we have custom plans and people just add a task to middle games and strategy, they're not going to be adding it to non-dojo.
Okay, but why can't we have it present as whatever it is for the people in the program when they do their non-dojo?
I guess we could add a new field when they create a non-dojo task and ask them to put it in another category.
Right, that's what I'm asking, yeah. And then it'll assign it to it. Because, for example, let's say I go back and I go time breakdown. Now, it's actually clear that what dude is doing is he's playing a bunch of games. And in fact, it's kind of, it's funny actually, because he's saying that his rapid isn't counting for the games played, but it's almost like a misunderstanding, honestly, right? Because he's low enough that the blunder games would count as a games played. Okay, but now we're off field. We're off topic on what this is about. In any case, it would then show that this whole 35% would be games and analysis. So then I would have a real sense of what this person is doing. Whereas this thing doesn't really help me.
I guess my point is if we're putting everything into one of the other categories, why do we need non-dojo category once we have custom plans?
The only point about non-dojo is to get people to be able to write something down that's not in the program and, let them follow it. For example, let's say there's people doing chess steps and they want to mark their progress. So they create a non-dojo category, right? and then they write down chess steps. And then that chess steps is always there. So let's say they do hundreds of hours of chess steps. Anytime they do it, they can just click on it.
Well, go back to the training plan tab for a second,
Okay.
and then like expand, I don't know, the tactics category.
Okay, there, by the way, there is his rapid. So he's done just rapid, right? Okay, tactics.
And like imagine at the bottom of this there was like a plus, like an add button, and you clicked that, and then you could type in chess steps or whatever you wanted, and it becomes a new custom task in tactics. Why would we need non-dojo if we had that?
I would be fine with that. I'd be fine with that. The only distinction we want to make is just to show people like that is not part of the program. Yeah, so that would be fine. I would be happy with that too. Essentially, that would be the same thing. It would just be putting it. I see what you're saying. Let's review. So what you're saying is we get rid of this whole thing, the non-dojo, and in each of these we then have custom task, each of the buckets. And then whatever they put there will then show up as in that bucket, but they won't get like dojo points for the program for that task.
Correct. Yeah.
I think that's great, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, also, I think my Zoom is gonna die in 7 minutes.
Oh, don't you have a dojo Zoom, buddy?
No, I'm just logged into my personal Zoom.
Oh, we got to get you onto the dojo Zoom, bud. We've got a fancy dojo Zoom, man. Oh, wait, Jack. Could this be another instance where I've got more computer skills than you? Could it be?
No, you just got a paid account.
You actually could get access to this too, my friend. But I'm gonna. Do you have time to keep going? Because I could definitely set up a Zoom.
Yeah, I'm good until 3 your time. I assume I don't know how many grads there are today, but I assume it's not going to be that long.
Okay. By the way, it's on that logins thing, but I'm gonna create it right here. Whoop. All right, hold on, my friends. So, the whoop. I gotta sign in myself. Boop. Okay. Boop. Boop. Oh, okay. So Jack, let's end this one, and then I'll send you a link.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, you guys, just give me a second here. I'm gonna figure this out real quick for the famous Jack to join us. And boop. I feel like with my computer skills, I feel like I'm approaching a solid 800. You know, I feel like I am approaching solid 800. You can disagree, but I think I'm getting up to 800. What do you think? Maybe it's only 700. Okay, maybe it's not that strong. All right, here, Jack's here. All right, Jack, say something.
Hey,
Okay, that was very quick. Dude, my computer skills, Jack, it's got to be said, dude. Oh, crushing. Crushing
yeah,
here.
I've rubbed off on you.
Osmosis. Osmosis. All right, let's take a look to see if Cute Gambetto has a game here. He's got at least one, a 30-0. Let's give that a click. All right, first things we're going to do is we're going to go clock. We're just going to take a look real quick at this time usage, and we're going to do a shaming event. Jack, would you like to take over the shaming event? Well, my friends, it's here again, the shaming event. And it's not only shame, but it's a special shame because we used even less time than our opponent, right? We've used even less time. My friends, there is no point in playing a longer game if you don't use the time. Okay? The time is there to be used. You will play stronger moves if you slow it down. Okay, to the game review. Maybe we'll come back to this to do some shaming later. All right, so far we're doing great. Fine. Poor. Why is it poor? Because he's not developing. Good move. Fine. A little weird. Fine. I would prefer bishop e7. Fine. Fine. Poor because not developing. Fine. Opening up the bishop. Now, sometimes you might say to yourself, Kraai, aren't you opposed to moving a developed piece twice? And I am, but in this case, a lot of times when you fianchetto, you're going to need to move the knight to get the bishop free. You write about a5, I think that would also be a thought. Bishop e4. I took with the bishop instead of pawn because I didn't want the pawn to become isolated and the white pawn to push, although now I see that it'd be actually stupid from white's perspective. Now, I don't know how you guys feel now, but like my kids, now when I say stupid, they yell at me. They're like, oh, it's a bad word, Daddy. You can't be saying that stuff. And so now I got it in my head that stupid's a bad thing. Jack, how do you feel about the word stupid?
I don't have any problem with it. I think it's
Yeah, what are we talking about? Okay, so DE4, and definitely the better move. And the main point I want you to see is that we've increased the scope of our queen. And look at this thing. We're doing great. We're doing great. Okay, bishop e4.
wait. Why
Yeah.
is DE4
Yeah.
particularly better? Because we're blocking off our light squared bishop.
Okay, kind of true. There's no doubt. But we have opened up our business onto the key weakness. And this bishop is playing a role. For example, this rook wants to move, but then it's going to get popped with an e3 if it moves.
Well, if he plays bishop e3 here, right?
Which I think is his best move. Yeah. Then we have a choice. I like a5 to activate our rook. But another long-term simple plan is just to continue to wail on him over here. And we're going to call this a backward pawn. Right here, for example, it's just a weak pawn. But we usually think of it as backward when there's nothing behind it and we're really whacking it. So, yeah. Is it horrendous? No. Is it going to cause the game to shift? Probably not. Because black is still better in this position. Though knight g3 makes me a little bit nervous. Okay, so I think knight g3, f3, knight f4. The knight's not doing anything there. It's not doing anything. Queen f6, okay, we have a threat. Good, we have a threat. Queen d2. Rook takes e3, buddy, nice move. Dang, full props. Oh, this guy. Dude, this guy's 996 and he plays it in 1 minute 17. That's a slammer jammer, bud. And this is so cool. Let me just stress, I can tell that for QGAM, this was a moment of joy, and it should be. That's a beautiful move. That is a beautiful move. And one of the cool things actually to say about it is at a higher level, you'll get this kind of sacrifice for more abstract considerations. Here it's going to work because you're going to get the exchange back. But if you just imagine this position with the rook, I don't know, let's put on c1, for example. Rook takes e3 is still fascinating because the bishops are going to be so strong. Right? Not necessary to say that's the best move in the position, but yeah, it's actually like, oh, that's a really interesting idea because then the bishop gets free and both of them are very angry at this point. In any case, that's just abstract. This is beautiful. Beautiful. Boom. Oh, and it's game over. Actually, well, at this level, it's not game over, especially if we're moving too fast. So rook e8 was played super fast. Jack, what other move should black consider besides rook e8?
I mean, I would play rook e8 in like a heartbeat, so. But I mean, maybe rook B8 but he's just going to play A3, maybe A5.
Good. A5 is the move we should definitely consider.
I would just take the open file though.
Okay. Now, it is true that we're doing great. But the rook it's not threatening anything mucho yet. So, G4, maybe. Bishop D7. Okay. Actually, C2 may have been better. The rook can't take because then checkmate. Now, note to bene, it's not actually checkmate because the king has got a square. I think if we were going to play bishop c2, it would be with the argument that this kind of holds all the coconuts together over here. But bishop b7 is okay. King g2. I think that's a fine move. And now rook b8. Now here we can see Jack. The rook didn't quite know what it wanted on e8.
It doesn't want anything. It's already happy.
Well, we want to do something though.
Well, first, we can improve the king. We can, there's still other stuff to do before we look at the rook again, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because his rook isn't doing anything. He can't play rook e1.
Fair, but I think with one move, the white king is going to nullify the black rook.
Yeah, that's true.
And I would we should definitely consider g5 because then we could think about rook e2. But the grief that I'm seeing is that I'm worried about knight f6. Now, yeah, I'm worried about knight f6. For example, it could go like this: rook e2, king f1, rook h2, and then king. So threatening rook h1, king g1, and now it's a bummer because he's got this threat and this threat. Yeah. Okay, but that's what I would want to calculate if I was black, because the only real way for this rook to get in, Jack, is to move the knight now. Yeah. That's why when we go back, it's a5 is going to be more the kind of thing we're looking for. You could wait too. You could play king g7 like you're saying, improve the king. That's fine too. Okay, so rook e8. Yeah, rook e8 he played in 9 seconds. g4 played in 5 seconds. King g2. Now let me just stress something. What I see in graduation show after graduation show, and I see this also in higher rated players, is they get to the end game and they stop really thinking. And my take on this is the primary reason they stop thinking is the end game actually requires a lot of calculation. It's not like the middle game. The middle game, a lot of times, you just get these really interesting positions that you can kind of intuitively assess or maybe think of as a tactic. Here it's way more intense because we're thinking about how does black break through. You saw that variation with g5. It's not easy for me either. I have to calculate it, right? But these guys are just saying as if it's nothing. So rook b8 he plays in 50 seconds, and the light that should be going off here is, oh no, I need a plan. I need a plan pronto. All right, here we go. Rook b8, a3, f5, and now black makes a very poor move, gf5. Why is that a poor move, Jack? And he does it in 24 seconds.
It frees up our light squared bishop.
Yeah, so what should black play?
What should black play or white play?
Excuse me, yeah, white play.
I mean, now that we've surrendered the e-file, I would bring the rook over.
No, Jack.
But
g5.
Yeah, that makes sense.
By the way, we have ChessPatzer UK in the chat. With the very beginning of the dojo, we had a vote chess battle with Chess Patzer UK. A lot of fun. Yeah, so cool that you guys are here. Cool, too, that you guys have kept it up after all these years. That was like 2001, I think. 2000. Well, no, maybe even 2000. Could have even been 2000. Okay, so one of the things that this is a little bit advanced, but I just want to stress that what black has happened here for black is that now all of these pawns on black are murdering our bishop. And now white is getting some nice dark square control, and it's not going to be easy to break out anymore. So this is a huge mistake, and now the bishop's free. Oh! What a joy! What a joy! King G3. I don't know what it does. King G7.
Black always had bishop C8 to A6 though to improve the bishop if necessary though.
You
right?
can try, but even here, let's say bishop C8, rook E1. That's not going to be too easy. Right? Let's say king F7. I don't know. You have to stop rook E7, right? Then knight D3, threatening knight E5. I'm getting some dark square juice going on here. Yeah, it's not easy anymore. Okay, so GF5. My bishop is free, breathing free. King G3. I'm not sure I get it. King G7. Why not F7? H4. I'm not sure what it does. King F6. Very good move. I like it. H5, I have no understanding of what this move is. So people are moving way too fast. Okay, let's do this for Jack. Jack, why is H5 massively controversial?
I'm not sure. I mean, I wouldn't have played it, but I don't think it's like particularly terrible.
Okay.
That you're already like, you're down a pawn and your position isn't that great anyways, but you're allowing the king to come in closer to G5 now.
Mm-hmm.
You're also allowing black to push G5 themselves and kick away your knight if they wanted to.
Good. Yeah. So, okay. First of all, what white should be focused on is improving his pieces. So your move from 3 million moves ago, rook E1, would definitely make a lot of sense, right? Okay. So that's number one. The other point, though, is the reason this is a negative, so there were a couple of reasons. One, pushing the knight away is not a dumb thing, but also this is important, that when we play H5, what we just did is give black the opportunity to have an outside pass pawn against this guy, right? Outside pass pawn is an amazing thing. And when we got a bishop versus knight, well, we love the outside pass pawn because people know, well, some people know, that the bishop is stronger than the knight when the pawns are running, right? So it's going to, let's just say we took, now it's going to become a race where we're not only up a pawn, which is nice, not only nice that we have the bishop, but now we're going to start running the bad man. So we're just going to play it instantly, and it's not going to be pleasant for a peasant. Okay, so king G5 was played, rook H1, okay? Rook G8, we're getting fancy. Boop, boop. Now, Jack, why was that a mistake? Pawn takes pawn.
Well, as you just said, now we don't have the outside passer anymore.
Good, and what's the actually more important reason? Zhao Pai.
I don't know. I'm not seeing whatever you're you're looking for?
This would have allowed white to play rook h7. And they say, they mean it too, that we want to have our rook on the 7th. Oh, all of a sudden, I don't know what black's going to do, something nasty like that. I don't know. All of a sudden, maybe white's the one playing for an advantage because the rook's so powerful. As an example, knight e2 followed by knight d4. Because the passivity of the rook, oh, I would rather be white now. So things that, even though we're down a pawn, maybe white's the one with the chances. Powerful rook. White thinks for only a minute and plays rook e1, isn't it? Rook h8. Mistake. He needs to play king f6 to stop rook e7 from happening. White finally finds it. Rook h4. I'm not sure that does anything. And now knight e6. Okay, interesting moment. I think knight e2 would conceivably be better. And jack. Oh, no, I take it back. We got to take that thing. Okay. And now black's like sees and feels his crimes and plays rook h7. Okay. And now we actually get a variation. Now I want to stress, Q-Gambetto. One of the things I'm hoping that you're seeing is that through the analysis of your games, you'll get a sense of like the kinds of things in the end game that one can look for. And you came up, maybe it's a computer, but it doesn't say so. You came up with a great move here, d4. Now, does it work or not? I don't know, but it is true that you're finding the fact that rook c6, d3, he's got troubles. Now, is it over? Maybe not entirely, because white could play king f2. But I think you're right. Your main variation is rook e7, and then if d3, then rook d7. And then you actually give a very complicated variation. Maybe this is a computer variation. And we should come up with an eval there at the end. To me, it seems like roughly equal. But the main thing is, whether this was with a computer or not, that you can see that when we get to the end game, we got to slow down. It's complicated, man. It's really complicated. Yeah. All right, rook h7. Rook takes, rook d7. Okay, fascinating position. Now, let's talk about it. White played instantly here, but the thing that white should really bear in mind is this guy is now set to run, and this king should really be thinking about attaining a blockade square in front of the pawn, right? And it looks like white is simply not understanding that, right? So the variation here would be king f2. Let's just do d4 as an example. King e2, just to show you what I mean. So now the pawn is more a victim than it is a threat, right? And our rook is great. If the king ever moves, we'll take the pawn. That's fine. And now maybe white's better. Okay, instead, b5 happened. And now I think it's a run, Forrest, run. Yeah, run, Forrest, run. Oh, buddy. Check to the miserable king. Checkmate. There we go, dude. There we go. Okay, so I want to go back to this time graph for a second and just dwell on it for a moment. This is something I yell at. It's not just the under 1,000 show, but the over 1,000 too. And Jack here, you can blame him. He's the one that visualized the problem for you. He's the one. He's in chat. You can yell at him and say, Jack, why did you do this to us? Kraai yells at us all the time, shows us this thing. Yeah, well, here it is. This is where improvement happens. Okay, let's go back over here, grad show. And I'm just going to check in over here. Next up, Kraai, we got to start moving, buddy. We got to start moving because I'm dwelling too long. I just got Jack here, and I've just been talking a little too much. So Lola, it's pretty kind of recent. Only hasn't been really marking anything down. Did two checkmate tests. We want a little bit more there. Let's just see what's going on. We got some clubs. Jack, are you a member of the Coders Club?
I believe so, yes.
Is it in your basement?
No, I think NMP set it up. So
Okay. All right, let's see. We got some games. No games. Now, sometimes, Jack, this is sad and I yell at people, but for us, for me, when I'm running a little, going a little slow with the grad show, it's kind of a bonus. It's kind of a bonus. All right, we got up next, Rusty Old Sea Dog. Chess Dojo is very helpful to guide me, especially as I have a very busy schedule. Lets me know where I have left off. Okay. So we want Rusty Old Sea Dog to do a little bit more. Also, Rusty, you haven't actually graduated, Bobs. You haven't actually graduated, because that's 731. Now, maybe you had graduated technically and then fell down. So we'll say that you graduated, hit that graduation button, and then had a suffering. 2 checkmate tests. We want you to do some 3 checkmate tests. Good. That's kind of close to your rating. That's something you could work on, obviously, and the tactics tests would show you some things too. We are working on Jack is working on improving the UI of our tactics puzzles, but it's we got so many different projects. Oh, it's just stunning how many projects we have. And then Jack only has 2 minions that I know of. He might have other minions. So here we go. UK Dojo games. No, here we go. Oh my God, there's a 3-0 game in there. That's no bueno. Okay, so boops. Let's see what. Nope, we're not going to do that one. Let's go this one. Nope, we're not going to do that. So in order to look at a game, definitely we want it annotated, and these games don't count if they're not annotated. Okay, let's move to the next one. Next up is Shamanth. Shamanth doesn't have anything to say. Let's see what's going on over here. Doing a lot of tactics, which is okay. Shamanth has graduated before. Looks like they're close to graduating again. And it looks like they kind of took a break. They took a break in the middle of October here, beginning of November, but they're back. Oh, that's a beautiful graph. They're just cruising up. They've failed on the tactics test. Usually when it's that low, Jack, my sense is that it's like one of these people that at least one of the tests, they started it and then they were just bailed. They just bailed early and then it killed their score. But they can do, once you do 3, let's say you have a terrible score and you do the 4th, then the first score will be dropped because it's always taking the average of your last 3. Okay. Now, Freddie Patzer has a very nice suggestion, Jack. What do you think about this one? There should be a feature where if your time graph is bad, a video of Kraai automatically pops up to yell at you. Now, Jack, the reason this is not dumb is I could put little video pop-up stuff on my Stream Deck, boss, and then I just click it, and I don't have to yell. It just has like a standard yell comes up. What do you think?
I think a better way to do this would be like we could have some analysis section of your games, and it can tell you if you're playing too fast or not.
That's true too. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, as well, that when I imagine AI taking over my job, is all AI has to do is go through, 100 of these streams that I do. I kind of say the same thing, Jack. I'm sure it could mimic me and say all the things I'm saying once it knows what to look for. There we go. There it is. My job's over. Games, no games. Shamanth, let's get us a game. You're clearly tactics obsessed. Okay, let's continue. A little Jesse hologram. What are you doing, Bose? DM says, I have an entire page on my stream decks. Now, let me just say, Jack, don't you feel a little bit smaller just because DM Hokey has a stream deck and you don't?
No, I'm proud for DM Hokey.
DM, send me those clips, buddy. I need to put them on my stream deck. Okay, Stanley wrote me a novel. By the way, one of the things on our many, many long lists of things to do here, and this is one of the reasons I wanted Jack to just check out this show, is when someone writes a novel, we get, the famous Jalp, who is one of Jack's minions, pointed out that is too much empty space, obvious thing to say, right? So there's a lot of things we could do to change the UI, but I think, Jack, the easy one is just to, when it gets, let's say, beyond 3 lines, just as an example, it could turn into more of a block text. That would make it easier for everybody to read, especially this old boomer GM. What do you think?
Yeah, I think something like that is doable. I could make it, maybe I could remove that as a column and just have it be underneath the row and just span the entire table.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you imagine if it's only 3, some people's are very short, and then it doesn't have to be the whole table. But yeah, once it gets beyond that, or yeah, like you said, just write it out underneath. I think that would be fine. Because this takes up all this space. Okay, let's read this novel from Stanley. Honestly, I don't think my chess.com is very accurate. It could easily be 100, 200 points lower since I've only played a few games. The actual skill of the players I've played seems to really vary even within the same ELO range, but I'm planning on playing a bit more online to get a more accurate gauge of my rating. I also only play a little bit of OTB with no serious time controls against friends. I know playing classical games and annotating them is a huge part of the program, and I'll eventually need to find to do them. Been chipping away on the Polgar mates. Maiden twos have been taking me a lot longer to complete. Some I can solve fairly quickly, but most of the time I really have to examine each candidate moves multiple times to spot the answer. I don't know if there's a more efficient way of doing that, but I notice that I need to really force myself to calculate lines out where I have to sacrifice material. I was also doing First Chess Workbook on Chessable when I was on the free tier, and I've just started part 3. First Chess Workbook has definitely helped me see more tactics when solving puzzles, but still a bit harder to see in games. Possibly due to me not actively looking for them every move. I can definitely notice an improvement, though, since I was completely blind to most of the tactics when I first started. Edit. Okay, so somehow I guess I skipped the following cohort because of a big jump from winning some chess.com games. I still plan on going through chess tactics for kids and how to beat your dad at chess, since I haven't had the chance to start those yet, unless you guys recommend to just continue the next book. So it seems like he jumped, maybe. He did an extra jump. Something on there, Jack, that I wanted, was something important that I was going to say, but it was in the middle of the novel, the important thing. Oh, it was actually not for Jack, but this is good for Jack to hear. Now, maybe Stanley is on the stream watching, but maybe somebody else who is watching the stream could also chime in. We had, Jalp was saying, who was one of Jack's minions, was saying that, and also I think Jack agreed with this, that the free tier was too onerous, and they wanted to make it a little easier. So if people have feedback on the free tier, then definitely let us know. I've always, I honestly, I haven't played, I haven't been a user on the free tier, so it's hard for me to judge what that's like, And Jack, the free tier was definitely Jack's baby, because he was like, I want everybody to see this program. And I was kind of like, free tier, they should just pay $1, pay $1 to be on there. Anyways, yeah. Jack, how is that going with the rejuvenation of the free tier?
I mean, we haven't done anything, right? Like last time we met, we had that big discussion about whether we should make it like a preview or a permanently usable thing, and it didn't seem like we really came to any
Right.
conclusion.
Well, so there you go, Stanley. If you watch this and have some thoughts on the free tier, we are interested in hearing. Also, it looks like, Stanley, you are doing mostly tactics, so I'm guessing maybe we don't have any games here. You're obsessed with the tactics. You are definitely way above where you are. So if you guessed that you were 200 points higher than where you should be, then you would be in the right cohort. So maybe we'll see you again soon, Stanley, for a new graduation. All right, here we go. Clubs. SoCal. Okay. Games. Nothing. That's what I was expecting. So, Stanley, two things we want from you. We want you to play some games. Tell us who you are. Just say a word or two about SoCal. Maybe SoCal too. Maybe they could get like an LA club or a San Diego club. That would be good. Yeah, I'm kind of with David too. Jack is saying in the chat that David's against the free tier, and I kind of we have a difference of opinion there. I don't know if I have super strong feelings. All right, next up is the famous Geraldo, who some people, I can tell it's just a bigger graduation because I've seen him around, I've seen him working, and Geraldo, look at that, 123 points. This was clearly a difficult graduation, and for me, kind of like when we do the World Championships rank that came out, I think it came out today or maybe tomorrow, that is something, it's work harder, it's more meaningful. Yeah. So, let's go check out Geraldo. 64, that's the number of squares on the chessboard, my friends. It's a good year. One time, New Zealand and altitude mountaineer. Nice. Okay, this is beautiful. So you can, look at a great chart. Yeah, can we just say, of course this should be the default chart. I get so much information here. Look at this thing. We don't want that other chart. Give me a break. This is amazing. I can see everything at a glance. The only thing is a couple times my eyes are broken because I'm looking at these faded colors. Like, is that a color? I guess it is. But yeah, you can see that one right there. It's like, that is very unclear to me if that's a color or not.
Well, he only did 15 minutes. It's barely a color.
But I still want to know that he did 15 minutes. I still want to know it. That's the thing I'm trying to say. So I get the idea of the heat map, but I still want it to be visible that he did something. That's all I'm saying. Jack, what do you think about this thing about the limited free trial? I don't think we even talked about that, but to me that sounds like a reasonable idea.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I lean more on the side of having like a permanent free tier that has limited options and usability. But, I wouldn't be opposed to also adding an option of having a free trial of the full program as well.
Right. Okay, so like I said, Geraldo really worked for this one. And one thing that might be interesting for us is to see if we feel that Geraldo's tactics are failing because of these. He's done 3 tests in each of these, and they've come out short of where he is. Okay. And in general, let me just say, as an older dude, a lot of times what I've experienced with players who are older and who have studied the game a lot is oftentimes they can have a pretty good strategic understanding of the game, but then be losing games because they're missing basic tactics. So that's one of the things I'll be looking for when we look at Geraldo's games here. Clubs.
Jesse, you see what Quad EXE says in the chat? He barely did anything, so it is barely visible.
Yeah, but I still want it to be visible. I still want to be able to see it. Like, if I look at this, I'm like looking at him like, is that kind of gray?
That implies that he did barely any work.
But I want to know that he did something on that day. From this distance, my eyes can't see that he did something on that day. That's all I'm saying. Or
Well, you just
this
gotta
day's.
put some glasses on.
I have glasses on, my friend. I got a stream deck too, buddy.
Time to go get your prescription updated.
You guys can't be blaming the boomers for all your problems, bud. You need somebody else to scapegoat. All right, here we go. This is Skyfall. And we're going to go, actually, let's go first. Let's go over here. Oh, we got to talk about the sky graph, the time graph. Now, one way in which I think Geraldo, let me just, well, anyways, we had discussion about people being of varying qualities online. I think that's what Geraldo was saying, if I'm not getting mixed up with a different person. But the main point is to note that fact. When you are playing online, here he's playing Lichess random pool. It is truly going to be random. And you will often get characters like this guy. I mean, look at this. They're treating it like a, I don't know, 5-minute game or something. They're not thinking at all. There's no reason for them to be playing a longer time control if they can't think. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily we're going to win, but we have to realize when we're playing online, we're going to get a lot of chumps like this, and we want, of course, exploit it. It's a huge competitive advantage that these people can't think. And it's something we need to really be aware of, because we can do it ourselves, i.e. we can fail to think ourselves. And a lot of times when we're at this computer, I say this every time, right? It's easier to get distracted. And so a way to not be distracted is to play super fast. That's why most GMs, when they play online, they're playing like blitz chess, because it's too hard to do very deep thinking when you're online and there's Twitter around and all this other garbage. A solution, by the way, if you want to get super serious about it, is this chestnut board or some other board where you got it set up next to the computer. And I think Kostya did a trial run last night, and there's some kindly old man who comes on and tells you it's your move. Whenever it is your move, something lights up too. Okay, back to the game review. Oh, I just got to say, if Quad XC is out there, he was the one who yelled at me to get a stream deck, and it is working out pretty far. It makes this whole thing real easy. Okay, so it's called the pan-off attack. E6 is fine. You could do other things, but this makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. He develops your queen. Boom, boom, boom. Check to the miserable. Bishop d7. Now, I would have preferred, I think, knight c6, but what you're doing is okay. Queen e2. Oh my gosh, now we're getting an endgame. So, both players moving pretty quick through this phase. And I'm 100% well, it's obvious that you have to take with a king, because otherwise you're hanging your pawn. So unfortunately, we're going to hang a pawn with bishop takes e7. And let's read what you write. This is a good thing you wrote. I chose bishop takes e7 by placing too much emphasis on not losing castling rights, and thus gave away the advantage. Right. Okay, or gave my opponent the advantage. Another thing, a couple things about this. First, this is the kind of blunder that can kill you. Now, it's not the end. You just lost the pawn, right? But this is the kind of thing where we really want to not do. Next up, it's very important. When we get to an endgame, let's even if the bishop couldn't take, we would want to take, even if we could take and not lose the pawn, I still want to take with the king, because look at this, my king is active. It's doing stuff now. It's the endgame. It's time to party. Okay. In fact, I would rather be black at this point. Let's say you write castles rook c8 or castles bishop takes c3. Of course you're doing great here. Look at this. You're doing fine. The king will come here. It's like you are up a piece in this side of the board. Okay. So bishop e7. Good move. Bishop e6. Castles. Castles. Notice now it's a little hard for your king to hang out in the middle of the board. So, rook c1. Okay. Let's say okay. And boom. I don't like this move, rook takes e8. Now he's going to play it very quickly. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. Let's ask ourselves, what would be a good building move for white? Okay, let's just say rook e8. Fine, fine. Stop complaining, Kraai. This is not it, though, knight d2. What do I want white to do? I want him to play king f1. This king will then be active. It won't have a back rank problem. And then we can do other things. So knight d2. Of course we're going to do that. Boom. Okay. Now the bummer for us is after bishop f8, the guy could have played the famous king f1 and ejected our rook. So one thing about this is this guy, even though knight d2 looks so wrong, rook e2 is actually not going to work out as well as we had hoped. Unfortunately, white deserves for it to work, for us to punish him. But here he could have played king f1. All right, so now he makes a blunder, knight f4. Did he think too fast? Yeah, it's been only 20 seconds. Thank you. Thank you. Now we're doing great. Knight e3. And now you say g6 restricting the knight. Okay, timeout. We have to be ultra sensitive to rook c7. We cannot allow this to happen. Okay? So our candidate moves should be knight c5. It should just simply be knight c5. No other questions, right? We must block black from attaining this very strong rook over here. So g6, rook. Now we're in a little trouble. Knight c5. And now knight fd5. It's getting a little hot. King g7, b4, good move. Now our knight goes poor, and now I think we're close to loss now. Knight takes b4, white blunders. Rook takes a7. Of course, it needed to be knight takes and then rook takes pawn next. Let's call it a clear advantage for white. So rook a7, full blunder. Well, is it a full blunder? Jack, what move did white need to try here?
I guess rook d7 is really the only
very good.
only chance.
And now black would have an interesting, by the way, maybe he would have found it if he didn't move in 9 seconds. Maybe he would have found it if he had moved in 9 seconds. This would actually be kind of a difficult choice because there's part of me, part of everybody, that would like to say, oh, I got 2 pieces for the rook. But the bummer is that this guy's running and it's actually very dangerous for black. Yeah, so black is not the one trying to win this position anymore. This is a good example of where the rook can be stronger than the 2 pieces when the board is completely open, and especially where black doesn't have a rook themselves. One thing the rook will do, for example, is it will cut the king from approaching our pawn. Major bummer. So after rook d7, best play is probably actually like this. And then it's going to be, then we should hold the position. The bummer, because we wanted more after white's crimes, but you know. So he blunders. a4. Okay. Fine. Simple chess. And white resigned. Well, he could have resigned earlier if you're going to play it that way. Okay. So, Heraldihu, congratulations. And let's go back and look at your profile for just a second. Oh, actually, let's see, how's this going? Let's go, I click on all this stuff. Yeah, let's go back. And, oh, whoa, look at this. Fixing the view with a stroke of the business. And we're gonna actually go activity, and here's your full time breakdown. And Geraldo, I think what we're gonna say here is this looks good, but what you need to be doing is more tactics. Okay? I don't always say that, but I'm gonna say that in your case. You need to do more tactics. The mating twos are great, obviously, and whatever is in your cohort is what you're gonna wanna do, right? And so, yeah, we need more in relation to what you did, because remember, it's a problem of age, and it's a problem simply that we've seen in your game, both in your ratings that you got for the tactics test, and then a lot of the stuff where your opponents and you are hanging stuff, right? That is going to be your path toward improvement. Okay, so, boom. We got, oh, that was it, Jack. That was it, buddy. How about that? We finished.